Well, welcome back to Round Mountain Tai Chi. Let's have a look at finishing off that posture, that Zaw Pung, the ward off left posture. Okay, so as I will tend to do in these videos, because I think it works quite nicely, is we'll get into where we finished last time by going the long way round, by just going through the form. Okay, this is what we'll always do in a class. We'll go through that up to where we finished in the previous section. We'll go through that for a few times, just make sure it's nicely bedded in and refreshed. Then we'll look at the next element and then stitch them all together, maybe with some other bits in between, depending on how far through the form we are. So, starting off, heels together, toes apart, arms loose by your sides. Your gaze just going off into the distance, allowing your breath to be nice and calm. And we sink all the weight down onto the right leg, hands inflate in front of the thighs. Take a step to the left. We transfer the weight onto the left leg. Then square the waist up to the north, pivoting on the heel of the right foot. Then we stand up, equalizing the weight. The arms rise, led up by the wrists. Then the fingers rise. The elbows sink and the hands come back. The elbows go back, the fingertips point up. The hands come back down in front of the thighs. We then sink, turn the waist and catch the moon. All the weight is now on our left leg. Then we transfer the weight all the way onto the right leg, squaring your waist up towards the east. Okay. And remembering this is Tai Chi north and east and all that sort of thing. So I think I'm actually currently pointing more towards the south than the north. And we're not worrying about that, to be honest. Okay. It's just the front of the class is north. That side is east. Okay. So yes, we end up here. So what we're going to do next. So all our weight is on our right leg. So all our weight. So our left foot could lift off the ground behind us. Okay. And we're here. First things first, we turn the waist to the diagonal. Okay. Arms just stay as they are. We're then going to pick up our left foot and place it roughly where the toes were. The heel goes down roughly where the toes were. Then we're going to transfer the weight straight across, waist still pointing at the diagonal. And as this is happening, the left hand is going to rise up, the left hand is going to fall down. We'll break this down in a moment later. But there'll come a point as we're transferring the weight across that we've then got slightly more weight on our left leg than our right. When that happens, we can pivot on the heel of our back foot to turn towards the north. We end up in this posture, which is ward off left. Zaw Pung. Okay, so this posture here, this front posture. Now, things to notice. There's a bit of width here. I don't want to be narrow. We're not doing this on a tightrope. I don't want it too wide either. Okay, like that. Also, if possible, the toes of my back foot are behind the heel of my front foot. Okay, so if I was doing it pointing this way, you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. Okay, again, don't worry about if you're quite high up, that's fine. Honestly, it's more about just having that little bit more weight on the front leg than the back. If you're at all unsure, lift your posture up. Okay, again, you're going to see loads of videos out there of people doing Tai Chi in competitions, and if their shirts are long enough, their shirt tails are skiting the floor if the buttocks aren't. We're not trying to do that, okay? We're just trying to do this for ourselves. We're not trying to do it to show off, and so a little more considered. So if at all if there's any discomfort in your joints, because I can't see what you're doing at the moment watching these videos, lift your posture up, okay? Or have a rest and then come back and try again. But if the pain still persists, then see someone. Go and just make sure that you're getting some good advice on this. Don't just listen to some random person on Facebook or YouTube or wherever this may be. Okay, so So all the weight on the right leg, hips towards the east, holding the moon, turn the waist to the diagonal. So we take our step. Now again, this step, we should be able to retrace our step if we want to. We're not trying to make a big point of stepping a long distance. Again, that's not what we're doing, okay? Picture the floor is covered with random bits of Lego. I don't want to be slamming my heel down on a Lego brick. I've done it in the past. It's not nice. So we just place it down. Then as we transfer the weight, left hand rises, right hand falls, turn the waist. Okay, so looking at the arms, turn to the diagonal. We take our, looking at the legs, I should say, turn to the diagonal, take our step. We're transferring the weight. There comes a point where we've just gone past halfway, and I can turn. And this leg almost doesn't move. And this leg always turns on the heel, which helps shorten your step. Okay, if I was to do it the other way, suddenly I'm longer, and I don't want that. I want it to be a bit more compact. Okay, now what are the arms doing? We're here. Okay, left hand is just rising straight up. The only movement is really in the shoulder here. It's just rising up until it's opposite the center of your chest, your solar plexus, kind of opposite where that hand was. Meanwhile, this is going to drift down like this. So if anything was on it, it would roll off. If you're wearing ludicrously huge bangles, they're clattering on the floor. Okay, because we're not. Again, you might see people who sort of flex the wrist. We're not doing that. Okay, it's one of the characteristics of the Man-Ching form is this beautiful lady's hand. Okay, it's just maintaining that line through the wrist, up through the fingers. So it's not this either. So it's a little bit inflated. It's not rigid. It's not, some sort of karate chop thing. It's just this sort of nice, sort of smooth extension. Okay, so this hand just rises up like that, and this just goes down. Turning of the waist might make it seem more than it is. So we're here to the diagonal. We take our step, transferring the weight, and we're here. Okay? And always just try and have your arms nice and loose and relaxed. Okay? If I was doing this somewhere, as I turn the waist, I'm not going to knock anything over. I'm just going to detect it. It's like we're antennae here. That's all this is. It's just operate like a force field sort of thing. There. A chi bubble. Whatever you want to call it. So that's all we're looking for here. And this is, again, just sort of resting as if there was like a little pillar or column we're just sort of resting our hand on. Okay, and that is the end of ward off left. Okay, so again, it's worth breaking that down into the two sections. So here, squaring up the waist to ward off left. As ever, practice that numerous times. Okay, the more you go through these things, the more you'll remember, the more it will start to feel like it makes sense and not just be this alien thing. It's like, what's that guy told me to do? It'll just seem like the obvious and natural way to move. Okay, so please practice. Let's stay relaxed. Hope to see you in class. And thank you for watching.